Hey you guys, this is Rafael from Shiloh Relics.com. I hope you're having a great day. I am so glad to get to be with you guys again. I had several people ask me, with today's world of internet technology, are there still magazines to read about the Civil War? Because I still like reading them too. And I thought that I would combine that with a few of my stories that you guys seem to like for some reason. So I'm going to do both of those with this video. There are three magazines that I have always loved and I've always enjoyed, and I wanted to share them with you and a little bit of history about each one of them in no particular order, because the people that do them, I love them all. I enjoy and they do a good job. I'm going to start off with the one that I started off with. When I got into the business back in the early 90s, there was one main magazine. It was North-South Traders Civil War magazine. And it's ran by some people that became really good friends with me, and I'm so thankful to have them in my life. Nancy Rossbacher and Steve Sylvia up in Virginia. They do a great job, great folks. If you get a chance to meet them, you should take advantage of that. This magazine was one of those that I couldn't wait till it showed up in the mail. And when it did, it was almost like a Christmas wish book for Civil War collectors, and it still is. They mainly focus on non-excavated pieces these days, but still have a lot of excavated things. And one of the things that I always looked forward to seeing was at the front of the things, they had a little section that showed the finds that had been found with metal detectors since the last issue or recently. And I always thought, man, someday I'm going to find something good enough to be in that magazine. And it never happened, and it never happened. And I was doing a show in North Carolina. A blizzard hit, and it was in January. The next weekend we had a show in Charleston, South Carolina. I couldn't make it home because of the snow. I didn't have enough money to get a hotel room in Charleston for a week, so another dealer, Ray Davenport, let me sleep on his couch for a week. Down there in Charleston, have nothing to do, don't know anybody, had no money to do anything else. He loaned me a detector, and my brother that was with me at the show and couldn't get home, and Ken Hamilton from Kentucky, who couldn't get home either, we all went metal detecting for a week, and we didn't find much. Early on, we were hunting some of the plantation sites, and on Wednesday, Ken found a Confederate script eye button. And I was so jealous. Oh, because I want to win if I'm going to do something. I was losing. And the next day, nothing. And then I got a signal, and it was about that far from one of Ken's footprints. In that hole was an original 1847 dated slave tag, and I got it in the magazine later on. Over the years, that tag, I realized that I needed some money to pay a car note one time, and so I sold it. And it went to a collector, and it changed hands a few times, and every time it would sell, somebody would call and say, "Did you dig this?" "Yes, I dug it. I would like to buy it back." "Well, it's not for sale." And it changed hands a few times, and it ended up with a friend of mine up in Virginia. And I would ask him every time I saw him, once I had a little bit of money in my pocket, if I could buy it back. And he would always say no, but if I ever sell it, I'll let you know. I come in one time and he says, "I can't sell you your slave tag back." And I said, "Well, why? You told me you would." He said, "I gave it away." And he gave it away to the Smithsonian. And it is part of one of the coolest museums for historical information that you will ever go in. The African American History Museum of the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. It's right on the mall. It's a beautiful building, very nice people. And it covers the history of African Americans in North America from the initial contact that they were brought over in slave ships, and it progresses through, and it has the information about the 60s, and it has some of the Tuskegee Airmen. They've actually got a Tuskegee Airman plane in there. It's a fantastic museum. But in the basement of that museum, They take you down an elevator, and it's like going back in time, and it has on the wall the dates going back. And when it opens up, it's like you're opening up onto an untouched America on a slave ship. And it goes through the progression of time. And when you get to the antebellum time, that slave tag is actually on display in the Smithsonian now. So I can't have it, but last year I got to take my daughter up there, and I said, Dad dug that. And that made me really proud, because a lot of people get to see them. And it is an important thing about our history, not to lose the history. We need to learn from our history. Good, bad, and indifferent. None of us haven't screwed up, and none of us will not screw up down the road. But if we learn something from it every time, we'll be better people in the long run. Get off my soapbox on that now. But the magazine is great. It has a lot of color photography now. They do great articles on everything from swords to cannons to artillery. I love that magazine, and I love those guys. And several years ago, some friends that had been my friends for a long time, Butch and Anita Holcomb down in Georgia, great folks, they started American Digger magazine. And it focuses, like the name infers, about excavated pieces of history. And they do a great job. When they first mentioned it to me, I thought, boy, that sounds like a lot of hard work, and I hope it makes it. They took it and ran with it, and they have made it a thriving enterprise. I'm so proud of them, not because, because they are really good people, and they work hard, and they do a good job, and they always treat people fairly. And I think I'm so proud to call them friends. So, American Digger, they have lots of articles about excavating, everything from Native American Indian arrowhead points to Civil War and on past, coin hunting. It's just a good all-around magazine about excavating history. Love it. And if you get a chance, tell them that I said hello. I will get the information on links for each one of these sites, because they're well worth visiting and getting a subscription to those magazines. And then there's one that has been around for a long time, but it has really come to the forefront since a friend of mine bought the magazine. Jack and Peggy Melton, wonderful people down in South Carolina, took over the Artilleryman magazine. And Jack is an amazing photographer. He's photographed for many things. He even wrote one of the early artillery books. One of the first people that I met when I got into Civil War collecting. He and Peggy do the Artilleryman, covers artillery of all types, of all ages, a lot of information. He just got through writing a book that shows half shells of the Civil War, which, who would have thought of that? They cut the artillery shells and actually show you what it looks like on the inside of the artillery piece. But it's a great magazine. If you get a chance, you need to check it out. It's mainly artillery, but I love the artillery stuff, and it's well worth getting. There are a few more out there. I hope you check them out too, but these were three of my favorites, and they're friends, and I am so thankful that I have all the friends that I have, including you guys for checking out these informational videos. I hope that y'all have a wonderful day. I hope that I can be a little bit of an influence like these folks have been on me. And I hope you have a great day. And above all, please be kind to one another. Remember, everybody needs a little help, and everybody could use a little more kindness. I love you all. I'll catch you down the road. Thanks for giving me a minute.